Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are live in Martin County, Kentucky on the Morning Startup Show. I'm JJ Pruitt, and I'm with my main man, Bradley Dameron, today. Good morning, Bradley.
Good morning, JJ. How are you doing this fine morning in Warfield?
I'm doing great. I actually got a couple of hours of sleep in, and we want to thank our sponsor, Punk's Tire. He's going to be our first sponsor of the day. You know, Jeremy Pinson, he's the best tire man in the business that I personally know. I don't know about you.
Yeah, absolutely. If you need a tire, wheel alignment, anything of that nature, just go with Jeremy Pinson at Punk's Tires, and he'll get you taken care of over in Virgie. So,
absolutely, and good morning to you as well, Janice Roden. We got a lot of topics to talk about today, but the one thing that we like to start out with is this day in history. So, Bradley, can you tell us what happened on this day in history?
Well, absolutely. We've had some big things happen this day. In 1945, the second ever atomic bomb dropped in Japan over in Nagasaki during World War II.
Oh, wow.
And so, you can see that. That's, the war was pretty much done at that point. I mean, if Hiroshima didn't do it, that one did.
Well, what's crazy to me is the kind of technology that they had in 1945 to actually be able to put together something like that could do that much damage.
Yeah, and now at the time, you look at years later, those are still probably the two most devastating, pieces of weaponry ever unleashed upon the world. So, thank goodness we don't need too many of those in our, the history of the planet. But that was definitely a big one.
Absolutely.
Then you go, in 1969. Actress Sharon Tate and four others were murdered by the Manson family, who was led by Charles Manson. That was, again, one of the most famous crimes in U.S. history. I know a lot of people right now, I think Charles Manson maybe didn't give rise to it, but I think there's a whole like serial killer, true crime, pop culture going on. I think Charles Manson's a big part of that. What do you think about it?
I actually think that one of the members of the family actually ended up getting out.
Yeah, there have been, that has happened. I think within the last year, I can't remember her name, but it's that's a crazy one. I know, like, I don't know. Sometimes we'll talk a bit here about Kurt Russell's had, like, anyone ever wants to do anything, look up Kurt Russell. He's had brushes with the Manson family, Ted Bundy, and he was even was outside watching the OJ chase as it went by his home. So he's had some interesting brushes. But also in 1954, Gerald R. Ford was sworn in as president of the U.S., succeeding Richard Nixon.
Was it 54 or was it 74?
74.
1974?
Yeah, the eyes sometimes don't work.
Yeah, it's a little early.
But yes, he succeeded Richard Nixon after Nixon resigned. The whole Watergate scandal and all of that. It was kind of, it was very interesting. We hadn't had any president facing impeachment really until, well, we had, but it had been a while. But Nixon was like the one in modern history. I know it was kind of a shocking thing for people at the time, but that's our this day in history. Those were some pretty big events.
Those are some really big ones. Do we have any celebrity birthdays by any chance?
We have a lot of celebrity birthdays.
Okay, who do we got?
We'll start off here. We have Bob Cousy, famous point guard for the Boston Celtics, and Cousy got to watch banner number 18, won this past season.
Yeah, and that was actually one of his final wishes before he passed away. He said, but I think he's like 90 years old.
He's pretty old. Yeah, he's up there.
And he said that his one last wish was to be able to see number 18. That way they could one up the Lakers.
Yeah, that was the thing. Listen, those old guys took those rivalries to heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and Bob Cousy, he wanted to get that up on. So, listen, I'm a Celtics fan. When I was little, Larry Bird could walk on water. So, I'm glad we could do that for Cousy. Like I did anything.
And he's one of those players that a lot of modern people try to discredit and disrespect. They say they played against plumbers and firemen, but I'm somebody that genuinely believes, if you give him the proper nutrition and the proper training the exact same way these athletes have today, I think he would have done good. I think he might not have been that great of a player, but the idea that he couldn't play in the league, I mean, I think he could have a shot.
It is interesting to think about old school players in the modern day in any sport. I mean, if you look at almost any sport, the game continues to evolve and players are bigger, stronger, faster now. But, a lot of that is due to nutrition. A lot of that is due to training techniques. I mean, Babe Ruth, was in baseball, he's like drinking beer and smoking cigars and stuff. That was his training regimen, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
It's a little different today.
Absolutely.
Going on down the list, Curtis Blow's birthday is today. Do you know who Curtis Blow is, JJ?
I actually know who Curtis Blow is. And for those out there that may not be familiar with him, if you've ever heard the song We're Playing Basketball, he's the guy that composed that.
Yeah, playing basketball.
Yeah,
that guy.
That was a classic.
Yeah, because, a little out of my wheelhouse, but even I know that one.
Mm-hmm.
Today is Deion Sanders' birthday.
Prime time.
Coach Prime.
Do you think he's going to stay at Colorado?
No. I mean, maybe for a little bit, maybe for a year or two, but long term, no. I don't know. I mean, look, right now, Colorado, the reports, that culture there is a little bit shaky. It looked pretty good a year ago, but it's starting to look a little shaky now. Maybe he'll come out and he'll prove me wrong, and Colorado will be like 8-4 or something. And
mm-hmm.
but it's looking a little shaky.
Absolutely.
And then
we got more.
One more, Whitney Houston.
Oh wow.
Whitney Houston, one of the greatest singers who ever graced the planet. And we were talking a little bit before the show about her national anthem. It's kind of weird because what you heard at home wasn't what you heard in the stadium.
See, I mean, if that's true, then that completely ruins part of my childhood, because to me, that's one of the best ever national anthems that was ever sung on Super Bowl Sunday.
According to her producer, and it's been floating around for years now, what you heard was a pre-recorded version at home. And, she did sing in the stadium, and people who were in attendance did hear Whitney Houston singing the national anthem. But that wasn't the version that you heard at home. The version you heard at home was timed with her and lip synced pretty much for the home audience.
There's no way.
That has been one of those things. I'm sorry to ruin it for you all, but she did sing it. Don't get me wrong. What you heard was her voice, but
yeah,
but it was not the live, beautiful belting out that you would think of as the national anthem.
She still was able to do it. For her to be able to deliver it that way, whether it was pre-recorded or not pre-recorded, to me, that's still,
I'm just saying, maybe that young lady who messed up the All-Star Game national anthem this year, maybe she should have pre-recorded it. I mean, we wouldn't have ended up with that whole abomination that we heard this year.
Well, it was funny how we all took up for it too. We was like, there's no way, like, you can't be from this country and be, be a 4-time Grammy nominated artist and butcher it that bad.
I'm just going to say this. Auto-tune has made a lot of mediocre singers sound a lot better.
I agree with you 110%.
So, but someone like Whitney Houston, you can't teach that talent,
Yeah.
So that's...
Well, it looks like we're off to a pretty good start. We got a lot of topics to talk about today. We're going to have a special guest at 9:15. It's a freshman by the name of Macy Maynard.
Macy Maynard from Martin County, already starting to receive some scholarship opportunities, some offers from different schools, and she's making some waves early, and it's a name that you're going to hear a lot the next 4 years, and you're going to hear from her today.
Yeah, I'm really excited to interview her, and we're going to go to a commercial break real quick. But when we get back, Bradley, it looks like you have a piece of memorabilia that you could share with us.
Yeah, we'll just give you a hint. But anyway.
Well, when we come back, we're going to let Bradley share that with us, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in on the Morning Startup Show.
Walters Kia. By now, you know Kia is a great vehicle, and you know they come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So why should you buy from Bruce Walters Kia? At Bruce Walters Kia, we're going to change your oil for free for life. And what you do with that money you save is up to you. Come check out the 2022 Kia Carnival and the 2021 Kia Sorento. Only at Bruce Walters Kia in Pikeville. Or shop us online at brucewalterskia.com.
Pass, bring them to Hall & Jones Funeral Home in Virgie, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall & Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall & Jones. Winning tire shop that focuses on customer service that's family owned and family operated. Stop by and see our friends Jeremy and Chasta at Punk's Tires. If you have a hectic work schedule and you're looking for a non-stressful, convenient way to buy tires, take advantage of Punk's Tires appointment Saturdays. If they don't have the tire you're looking for, they guarantee it to have it the next day. Punk's Tires can take care of all your needs in tires, wheels, wheel alignments, brakes, rotors, minor mechanic work, and more. They'll treat you like family from the second you walk through the door. Come see us in Virgie, Kentucky, or give us a call at 606-639-TIRE. That's 606-639-TIRE.
And we are back on the Morning Startup Show. I'm JJ Pruitt with my main man, Bradley Darryl. And we want to thank the Tuck Valley Wellness Clinic for being one of our sponsors, especially for this segment specifically. And, you know, Bradley, before we went to commercial break, I mentioned that you had a piece of memorabilia that you wanted to share with everybody. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. We were talking a little bit last night about something to show in. There we go. This was from the very first ever Tug Valley High School football game in 1987.
Wow.
Yeah, it was at the old field in Lenoir. Bob Brewer Stadium wasn't completed yet. Really, it was probably, I can't imagine there was another athletic event. I was 9 years old, so forgive me for not being up on all that. If there was some other event that I'm not aware of, but the very first ever varsity contest, they played Vinson. Won 12-6 in overtime. So that was a nice start for the school and stuff. Interesting note about that game. They didn't have their full allotment of jerseys, JJ. So Lenoir used to have a program before that, but Kermit did not.
Mm-hmm.
So during the game, the players came out. Some of them were wearing black jerseys and some of them were wearing red jerseys from Lenoir, and it was confusing to the players. And David Ledger, who's still working at Tug Valley as an assistant basketball coach,
mm-hmm.
was the football coach. And at halftime, he made the decision to switch from the mixed up jerseys. They had enough old Lenoir jerseys, so at the half, the guys who were wearing black jerseys put on red jerseys. And they played the second half with the red jerseys and black helmets, kind of looking more like the Wayne Pioneers. But but that's how they got through the first game and got a 12-6 win. And at the old field Lenoir. So that was a pretty interesting start to the athletic program. And and at Tug Valley, now they have 15 overall state titles, not in football. Still looking for that one.
Well, they have 4 in basketball and 11 in cheerleading, or
they have 10 in cheerleading, 4 in boys basketball, and 1 in girls basketball.
Oh, yeah. Didn't they win in girls basketball? Was it 2012, 2013 or something?
Girls basketball would have been 20 might have been 2020 or 2021. 2021, because we just come back from COVID. Because that would, 2021. Because that was a year at the Civic Center. You couldn't just buy one seat, so they were doing distancing. So if there was just one of you, you had to buy 2 seats.
Right. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's this is probably the coolest piece of memorabilia that we've had on here. I mean, I know that I have my throwback jerseys that I always like to wear. to share with people. But if anybody in the comments section or anybody that's watching would love to donate a piece of memorabilia for us to have on the show and maybe tell some stories about it, we would love that.
Yeah, or we could borrow it. We'll
Yeah,
give it back.
that's what I mean. Borrow it. You know.
We'll give it back.
Yeah,
you don't have to give up your memorabilia.
I have a couple of jerseys I need to return. I've got at least 3.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was that was one of those interesting things because like I know we were talking a little bit before. There used to be a lot of schools that tossed these little plastic footballs. Like,
yeah, as soon as you brought it in, I thought it was like an old Make One football because the design is the exact same.
Yeah, like this was, that used to be a big deal. You see a lot of the sponge ones or foam ones now.
Mm-hmm.
They'll toss out, but that was but the old plastic ones were the way to go back then, and I guess they went with because the silver and black, they had the little, I guess more of like a grayish silver type thing around the ends, and the lettering was black, although a lot of this rubbed off and faded. Because 87 was a little bit ago.
Yeah, it was almost 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think that what would you like to talk about first today? Like, do you have
the weather's been nuts, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to call my sister today because she actually lives in South Carolina, and they say that the storm is actually headed that way.
Yeah, Hurricane Debbie, now Tropical Depression Debbie, but don't get me wrong, there's nothing depressing about it other than being out in it.
Absolutely.
That's it's a rough storm, so we may get some of that over here, but not to the extent people on the coast are. And, so we do sometimes have people listening from different parts of the country. So if you're someone over in that area, just let us know. But you're safe and stay safe. Make sure to do what you need to do to stay safe during that. Have you ever been in a hurricane or a big storm like that?
I would imagine if I was, I probably would get swooped up somewhere, and you probably wouldn't see me again.
I mean, I've been around a tornado. I've been through an earthquake.
You've been through an earthquake?
Yeah, I've been through an earthquake. I was in Virginia when an earthquake hit Virginia. Now, mind you, I didn't know what was going on, and there was a weight room below me, and I thought a bunch of college football players were like, what are they doing? Because I'm in my building and it's shaking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what in the world? And then it stopped, and I'm just like, okay. And then a little while later, like, hey, did you feel the earthquake? And I was like, I guess I did.
Wow, that is insane. Yeah, I've been fortunate enough I've dealt with a couple of floods in my life because of the area that we live in, but never a hurricane or an earthquake.
I mean, we've been through tornado, stuff. I guess it would have been, 2012, 2013, we had a bad tornado come through here. Caused a lot of damage. I know a lot of people can remember that.
Yeah.
Like right through here through Warfield, Beauty, and Lovely, this stretch here got hit really badly. I know a lot of people remember those storms. I was actually at a basketball game. It would have been 2012. It would have been 2012 because it was the sectional championship game, the Tug Valley Tulsa sectional championship game in Logan. And Logan's being like blown away. And all we had over at the Logan Fieldhouse that night is the lights flickered a few times. So
really, Jesus.
So, but that was an interesting thing. But speaking of basketball, did you watch any of the Olympic basketball yesterday?
I actually got a chance to watch it, and I was blown away with the comeback that Team USA was actually able to make. It was the final score was it 95-91?
95-91. Team USA was down 17 points at one point.
Wow.
And,
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I for sure thought that it was over. When it got to the fourth quarter and they were down, about 15 or 16 points?
I think they went into the fourth quarter, I want to say down 13.
I think that you may be right.
It just kind of was like, it looked pretty hopeless. Look, I'm not a big LeBron fan, but LeBron did a lot down the stretch. Steph Curry shot the lights out yesterday. Yeah. I thought Joel Embiid also played pretty well for the most part. I didn't see all the effort from everyone else, and oh man, in a game where guys were getting open and hitting threes, it's almost like I just wish that USA had a really good two-way player on the bench who's known to put it, to do well on both ends of the floor when they really need a defender.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they did have one of those.
Yeah, they had a guy. What was his name? Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum.
Yeah,
a good two-way guard who didn't see a minute in the game.
And this is the second game that he hasn't seen a single minute of playing time.
Yeah, well, Steve Kerr has a rotation, but sometimes you got to look and see what's going on the floor. I don't know.
And sometimes you got to ask yourself, well, if everything that we're currently doing isn't working, what's it going to hurt if we try at least one more thing?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you have basically players weren't fighting over top of screens at all during the game, and Serbia was just hitting shot after shot after shot on the outside. And, our guys are just undercutting screens and here, have that. No one was fighting. There was no adjustments needed. I mean, I know Jokic, is a great player and all, but you can't just let the other guys stand out there open shooting threes.
What's interesting is before that game, Steve Kerr was like, look, we're not going to take this team lightly. We know that there's probably a good chance that Jokic is not even trying. And he clearly showed, whenever he flips that switch, there's a reason why he has, was it 3 MVPs, 3 regular season MVPs?
A couple of them, I think.
Yeah, he's got 3.
Yeah, does he have 3 now?
Yeah. Listen,
all I'm going to say is this. Steph Curry continues to make Steve Kerr look like a better coach than he is.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't usually make a deal to criticize coaches, but these are professional coaches at the highest level, and I'm going to criticize them. The whole game plan yesterday was awful, and it almost cost them. I'm glad that Curry was shooting the lights out. I'm glad that LeBron turned it on. I'm not a LeBron fan at all, but if he doesn't turn it on there in the fourth quarter, well, they're playing for a bronze tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I thought Embiid had a pretty good presence. And what are your feelings on Anthony Edwards?
I mean, I think that he's one of the rising stars coming up. I mean, but I think we need a couple of more years to figure out what he's going to do. I mean, he had that breakout season last year where, he was able to knock off the reigning champions. But then the following series, against Luka and Kyrie, he didn't really do that much.
I don't want to be too hard on him because he is really young, and sometimes. But there was a point I made a post. If any of you are my friends on Facebook, you may have seen a post where I said something along the lines of, it seems like that Anthony Edwards has defected to Serbia because he was helping Serbia out a lot more than he was helping out Team USA.
Mm-hmm.
He was not very good. But now they go on to the gold medal game against Wemby in France. What do you think about that game coming up?
I don't think that France is going to have a deep enough roster to beat them. But, I mean, we've seen – I mean, they definitely have the size. They have the size in the paint, but I don't know if they have a deep enough roster to get it done.
Well, let's not forget, this is a home game for France. This is like going – I mean, this would be like UK playing for the national championship in Rupp Arena. This isn't going to be like I would tend to say like they would be the heavy favorites. Team USA would be if it wasn't in France.
Uh-huh.
But it's in France.
Yeah,
it's in Paris. So.
I didn't even. Wow, they're playing for a gold medal at home. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and actually, yesterday when they defeated Germany, they solidified themselves as the first host team to win a medal in men's basketball since 1996.
Who was that? Was
that
that in
in
Atlanta?
The United States,
yeah, that was in Atlanta. Yeah. Oh wow.
So they're going to win a medal. What silver or gold.
Hey, that's for Wemby being only 19, 20 years old. I mean, that's really impressive. That's something to be proud of. And if he can actually pull this off, I think that it would be more impressive than winning an NBA championship.
Well,
because the thing about the NBA championships, yeah, you're beating the best team, but when you're going for the gold medal, you're not just beating the best team, you're beating the best player from every single team in the league.
Yeah, but you got to remember, France is not just Wemby. They've got quite a few NBA players on the team.
They got a couple.
It was interesting. I don't know if you watched the France-Germany game, but you had Tony Parker and Dirk Nowitzki sitting next to each other, cheering for different teams. But you could kind of tell they were doing the little whenever France would do something, Tony Parker would kind of give him the little nudge, and then Germany and that was actually a really good ball game yesterday. Went down right to the wire.
Oh yeah,
went down to the final shot. So
yeah, it was a really good game. So we actually have somebody in the comment section. Do you know a Chad Dammer by any chance?
I do know Chad. How you doing, cousin?
Yes, he says Tug Valley wins on the 29th. Have a great day, everyone.
Oh, listen, Chad's starting. Well,
is Chad is he an older person or is he a kid in high school or
no? Chad's he's younger than me. We'll say that, but Chad's getting that trash talk going, baby. You got that the Battle of Mingo coming up whenever Tug Valley opens up at Mingo Central. I'm sure you can get that going, Chad.
Absolutely. Hey, Chad, it's good to have a positive attitude. I mean, that's terrific. I mean, we love good competition at the end of the day. I mean, I'm a Mingo County boy. I mean, I have a cousin who cheered for Tug Valley and won 2 state championships. So, I mean,
Well, you know what we need more around here?
What's that?
And I'm not talking about Mingo County. I'm talking about the area. We do have some of those. We need those rivalries, and we need them all to mean something.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. There was nothing like, whenever I was a kid, there was nothing like going to a Birch and make one, game, even though it was never close in football. I mean, they were a huge rivalry in basketball. Going to a Williamson and Birch basketball game, those are probably my favorite games to go to. They were always intense. That the referees were brutal
at times. Gilbert games of football were fantastic.
Absolutely.
And then over here, on this side, I do think like Belfry and Pikeville games, Belfry Johnson Central, recent years, Pikeville and Raceland has been a great game. Raceland and Ashland. We have some really big rivalries, and we like to see that. We like to see those teams clash,
and sometimes maybe fight a little bit, but we don't want to not do nothing crazy. You know what I mean? Just get into a little scuffle that quickly gets broken up, but just to show the intensity of everybody.
I like the intensity.
Nobody gets ejected, nobody gets hurt. Nothing happens to anybody. Maybe just a little scuffle and occasionally a little bit of trash talk.
Yeah, so
that's how it was whenever I was growing up. I mean, you were just passionate.
Yeah, but Chad, you keep that trash talk going, baby. We need to keep that going more. In today's age where people, the world's gotten a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
So all the communities are, like I can remember being a kid. I grew up near Kermit. Going to Williamson was like I can remember before they had 119 finished and we would go there and it'd be an all-day trip. Now, you can get everywhere easily.
Yeah.
It's much more easily. So in this day and age, a little bit of that community spirit, I think, is diminished, but we got to get back to that stuff. So good job, Chad.
Absolutely. And I have one last question before we go to commercial break. If you think which rivalry do you think is going to be the best game this year? Not like which teams actually have a good enough roster to be able to put on a good game with each other?
Yeah. And what rivalries do you just love? What games do you love going to?
Yeah, do you think that Belfry and Pikeville will be a good football game this year? Do you think the Mingo Central and Tug Valley will actually be a good game, or do you think it'll be a blowout? Do you think Logan and Chapmanville in basketball, which games do you think are actually going to be really good this year?
Yeah, that'd be a great one. So just chime in with us.
Yeah. Well, what about you? Which one do you think will be the most exciting?
Oh, I mean, I think Belfry and Pikeville has been always really interesting, although it's been pretty one-sided the last few years. I do think that Tug Valley Mingo Central game will be interesting.
Yeah.
Mingo Central is a much bigger school. Tug Valley returns a lot. I know Coach Jones. I spoke to him the other night, and he's amped up about that. So,
Oh yeah.
So
whenever I went to the high school to interview the kids for media day, every single kid that I asked to say, which game are you looking forward to the most, or what's the one thing you're looking forward to the most this season, everybody said beating Tug.
There you go. So that's how they preach it. So they're coming for Tug Valley too, Chad. So you got to keep that going. Everyone, we got to have that good game coming up.
Absolutely. And we're going to take a quick commercial break. We want to thank everybody who's continuing to tune in, and we got a load of topics to talk about for the rest of the show. We've got our county of the day. We've got Macy Maynard coming in at 9:15. So, whenever we come back, we're going to have a lot to talk about. We'll be back shortly on the Morning Startup Show.
Walters Kia. By now, you know Kia is a great vehicle, and you know they come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So why should you buy from Bruce Walters Kia? At Bruce Walters Kia, we're going to change your oil for free for life. And what you do with that money you save is up to you. Come check out the 2022 Kia Carnival and the 2021 Kia Sorento. Only at Bruce Walters Kia in Pikeville. Or shop us online at brucewalterskia.com.
Winning tire shop that focuses on customer service that's family owned and family operated. Stop by and see our friends Jeremy and Chasta at Punk's Tires. If you have a hectic work schedule and you're looking for a non-stressful, convenient way to buy tires, take advantage of Punk's Tires appointment Saturdays. If they don't have the tire you're looking for, they guarantee it to have it the next day. Punk's Tires can take care of all your needs in tires, wheels, wheel alignments, brakes, rotors, minor mechanic work, and more. They'll treat you like family from the second you walk through the door. Come see us in Virgie, Kentucky.
Wear a lot of hats. They're coaches, volunteers, church members, neighbors, someone who's there when you need them, especially when you need them most. That may be a lot of hats, but they're all the perfect fit. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment.
And we are back on the Morning Startup Show. I'm JJ Pruitt with my main man, Bradley Damron. And we want to thank everybody that's taking the time to wake up this morning to tune in. We also want to thank our sponsor, LB&T. Bradley, one thing that we forgot to mention is we got a lot of stuff to talk about with the Olympics. What would you like to go with first?
Noah Lyles came up short yesterday in his attempt to win the 200-meter gold medal. He got the bronze, but I think the bigger story was he ran that race with COVID.
Did he really?
He did. He was diagnosed with COVID 2 days earlier, and he's an asthmatic. He has asthma, so I think it genuinely got to him a bit after the race.
Oh wow!
So he kind of collapsed afterwards.
That is wow. Yeah, I mean, isn't that like standard protocol? I mean, to have COVID and still run with all those people. I mean, that's that can't be a good look.
I don't think it's a great look. Well, it would be one thing to like I'm sure Noah Lyles will be fine. I'm sure the athletes will be fine, or you would think they would be. But the thing is too, like it's an international event, and there are treatments like that we're able to do here in the U.S. that they may not be able to do in some other countries. So
yeah, and I truly hate that that he got sick like that. If he really did, I mean, we were rooting for him to get the 200 meter. I mean, I think that he had the best time this year. I think he ran a 19.3.
Well, and even Usain Bolt even kind of allude to the fact that he thought that his world record was in jeopardy.
Do you think he was being sarcastic? Do you think he really believed that?
I think he believed it.
I don't. I mean,
I think he did, because that was the thing. They said the 200 was his best event, and I think Bolt thought it might be. But if you look at some of those records, Bolt's record, his is a big jump from everyone else's.
To put into perspective, okay, I think that the fastest time for the 100 meter this year was, I think the winning time was like 19.8. He ran a not 19.8, but a 9.8. Like 9.8 was the fastest time.
Yeah, well, 9.7.
9.79.
Yeah.
But to put it into perspective, he ran a 9.58, which is,
But 100 and 200 are very different races.
But even then, you're still going to have to run at least one of your 100 meter times is still going to have to be, 9.7, 9.6 to be able to have a legitimate shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to know one of the most amazing stats I've come across this past week in the Olympics?
What?
Do you remember? Well, maybe a little young. Do you remember Florence Griffith Joyner? Yeah,
FloJo.
Yeah. Do you know she still holds the women's world record in the 100 and 200?
Yeah, 10.45, and then I think 21.4 or 21.5 is her fastest 200 meter time.
And those records have stood for 36 years.
And I completely understand why. If you go back and watch the clip, I mean the video quality it's
really bad.
It's very difficult to see. It's like a blur, but she literally was a blur whenever she was running.
She was the blur that was way in front of everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times when you watch a 100-meter race, all these athletes are pretty close together. There might be some separation, but not her race. If you watch that one, like back in 1988, she was just blowing by everyone. But I hope Noah Lyles recovers really well.
Yeah, I'm sure we do too.
I liked him, man. I like a guy who trash talks and backs it up, and he was backing it up until that one.
Yeah.
So hopefully we might be able to see him again.
I'm really happy. I was rooting for him as well, but it's like I was telling Darryl, multiple times on this show. I've already seen the best. So for me, it's like we've been spoiled. Whether it's in football, we've seen a 7-time Super Bowl champion. In basketball, I had a chance to see somebody go 6-0 and never lose. And then even seeing LeBron and Kobe and Shaq and all of these players. And then, in golf, we got to see the most dominant golfer of all time, Tiger Woods. I mean, yeah, he didn't win 18 majors, but just the level of dominance that he had against his opponents for that stretch was absolutely insane.
But you've seen the best up until this point. That's the thing to always remember.
That is true.
There's always going to come a guy like in the sport like track and field. Listen, his records will fall. Now it may not be for another.
I don't think I'll live to see somebody run faster than a 9.5. I don't know. I mean, and what's crazy is if you look at the first race that he raced, in 2008, he led off and still ran a 9.6, and there's not even been maybe one or two people that have ran a 9.6 to this day, and he did that by letting off the gas.
Noah Lyles is the third fastest man in history.
I'd have to look at the. I mean,
he
so wait a minute. Usain Bolt. We've got.
The guy's name.
But Johan Blake, and then Tyson Gay.
Tyson Gay was the second fastest.
Yeah, so he might. I think Noah Lyles might be like the 4th or 5th fastest.
The things I was seeing the other day was Noah Lyles ran the 3rd fastest time in history.
It might have been
because Tyson Gay was second.
Yeah.
Because the thing about Tyson Gay has the 2nd fastest time in history, never won an Olympic medal.
Yeah, we'd have to look that up. Well, we have just to see, because I know there's been two people running 9.6, but even then, props to Noah Lyles for getting a 100-meter gold medal. I mean, that's something to definitely brag about, and you'll get it done if you run again 4 years from now.
And then now moving on, like another, I don't want to call it a failure for Team USA because that's not the way to put it. The women's water polo team.
What happened with them?
They'd won 3 straight gold medals, and they were going for their 4th consecutive, and lost in a shootout with Australia yesterday in the semifinals. So they'll still be able to play for a bronze. The thing is about the water polo team, women's water polo team, that a lot of people have kind of been entranced by, is that's the team that Flavor Flav has been sponsoring and has really, and he's committed to that for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so he'll be around again, in 4 years whenever they go to Los Angeles.
Well, and the thing is, they showed these statistics of like what people receive if they win a gold medal. And I think you get $30,000 for a gold medal.
It's 30, 35, somewhere in there. Yeah.
And I mean, if you can afford to pay all these NBA players hundreds of millions of dollars every year, I mean, this is an event one time every 4 years. You're competing against everybody in the world, not just everybody in your country, but everybody in the world to show that you're the best. I think that those medals should have a little more weight or hold a little more weight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to remember with the NBA, though, they're being paid that by their teams.
I mean, I get that, but at the same time, I mean, I understand that.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I do agree that they need a little bit more of that. I love what Flavor Flav's done. He's actually challenged other celebrities to step up and basically adopt a team. That's what we need. We need more, adopt a team. Which he pretty much has. I mean, like he was saying, these women sometimes hold down 2 and 3
I mean,
jobs.
if I was an NBA player making $50 million a year, I would imagine I could afford to sponsor somebody. I mean, even if you use it as a tax write-off or don't, I mean, you can still. There's got to be some sort of way that these athletes can get taken better care of, because I would imagine that the amount of money that they have to spend on training was nothing. That gold medal is nothing compared to that.
I agree with you. So, shout out to Flavor Flav for doing that for those women. And but then another group of women advanced to the gold medal round.
Who was that?
Women's volleyball for the United States.
Really?
Beat Brazil yesterday and advances to the to win a hopefully win a championship or a gold medal, which is a championship, let's be honest. So good on them. And that's pretty much what's been going on in the Olympics that I've been keeping up with. Have you seen anything else there, JJ, that's caught your eye?
I mean, I can discuss like what I'm looking forward to seeing, but for now, I mean, it's 8:48, and I think that we need to go to another commercial break and come back. And do you have a county of the day for us by any chance, Bradley?
We do have a county of the day.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, ladies and gentlemen, and when we get back, we're going to do the county of the day, and then after that, we're going to have a special guest that we're going to be interviewing. So whenever we come back, we're going to get started on that. We'll be back shortly on the Morning Startup Show.
Walters Kia. By now, Kia is a great vehicle, and they come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So why should you buy from Bruce Walters Kia? At Bruce Walters Kia, we're going to change your oil for free for life. And what you do with that money you save is up to you. Come check out the 2022 Kia Carnival and the 2021 Kia Sorento. Only at Bruce Walters Kia in Pikeville. Or shop us online at brucewalterskia.com.
Pass, bring them to Hall & Jones Funeral Home in Virgie, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall & Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall & Jones. Winning tire shop that focuses on customer service that's family owned and family operated. Stop by and see our friends Jeremy and Chasta at Punk's Tires. If you have a hectic work schedule and you're looking for a non-stressful, convenient way to buy tires, take advantage of Punk's Tires appointment Saturdays. If they don't have the tire you're looking for, they guarantee it to have it the next day. Punk's Tires can take care of all your needs in tires, wheels, wheel alignments, brakes, rotors, minor mechanic work, and more. They'll treat you like family from the second you walk through the door. Come see us in Virgie, Kentucky, or give us a call at 606-639-TIRE. That's 606-639-TIRE.
Wear a lot of hats. There are coaches, volunteers, church members, neighbors, someone who's there when you need them, especially when you need them most. That may be a lot of hats, but they're all the perfect fit. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment.
And we are back on the Morning Startup Show. I'm JJ Pruitt, and I'm with my main man, Bradley Dameron. We want to thank Punk's Tire for being one of our sponsors. And we also want to mention to you that we also have a hotline number as well. If you guys want to call in and share your thoughts on what you think about the show, and if you have any questions, the number is 606 230 8911. That's 606 230 8911. Feel free to call in if you want to.
Yeah, we would love to hear from you.
Absolutely. We are still waiting on our first caller, and we really can't wait for that day.
That's going to be great. Yeah. Please call us.
Absolutely. So this segment is going to be the county of the day. We apologize for missing it yesterday, but we're going to make up for it today. And I'm going to let Bradley share with us the county of the day. So, Bradley, can you tell us which county that we're going to go with today?
Yes, today we're going to be speaking about Owsley County, Kentucky. Owsley County is it's the second least populous county in Kentucky. Did you know that?
The second least populous county?
Yes. As of 2020, it had 4,051 residents.
Oh, wow.
So not a very large county. I mean, there's only like the one high school in the county, Owsley County. So appropriately named, but Owsley County it was organized in 1843 from Clay, Estill, and Breathitt counties. Is named for William Owsley, who was a judge of the Kentucky Court of Appeals and then later a governor of Kentucky. It has unfortunately, Owsley County, is one of the counties that's struggling financially in a lot of ways, and we'll get to that in a minute. But it was it has one of the things about it is it was a dry county until 2013.
So Darryl would always tell me the dry county is the moist county. So dry just flat out means that you can't get out
you cannot get alcohol. You
Okay.
cannot buy alcohol, until 2013. So they did prohibit the sale of alcohol. I don't. It wasn't necessarily illegal to have alcohol, but you couldn't buy it there. So
right.
So they switched that up. It has a total square area mile of 198 square miles. 197 are land, and just a little under one is water. The South Fork of the Kentucky River passes through the county, and it's located in the eastern mountain coal fields and is part of the Appalachian Plateau. And the thing that we mentioned here a minute ago was just the income in Owsley County.
So how's the income looking? Is it higher than most, or is it lower? Is it somewhat average?
It is lower than most. The median income is $15,805.
Jesus,
it's the third lowest in the nation.
That has to be let's see, 15,000 a year. So that would be
the lowest in our area, I believe, because it's the third lowest in the country.
I'm trying to think. I mean, that'd be what, like $7 an hour or $6?
It's listen, our people here in this area, I feel like they often get underpaid for what they do, and Owsley County is no different. And I'm sure they work their tails off for that 15,805, and sometimes that's a bit on the unfair side, I feel. But the median income for a family was $18,034. Men had a median income of $25,100, and women had the $18,205.
Oh wow!
And the per capita income for the county was $10,742.
Yeah, it must. That must not be. It must not be very expensive to live there.
As I say, a lot of times people in our area are really great at getting by with what they have, and very resourceful. So, Owsley County has always been a strong Republican county. as far back as even 1912, the county has always leaned Republican, at least leaned Republican. And, the last election in 2020, the presidential election, over 88% of the county voted for President Trump at that time. Right now, in the county, you have the some of the attractions. You have the Abraham Lincoln Relief Sculpture.
That's in that county.
It is in that county.
Oh wow!
It's known locally as the Abe Lincoln Rock, but it's just off Highway 846 in the Conklin community of Owsley County, and it's listed in the inventory of folk art in the Smithsonian American Art Museum. So it's well known there. The county seat is Boonville, so that is the main city in the county. And then they've also had some notable residents, a couple of those.
Really? Who's some of the notable residents from there?
Well, you may kind of get the idea from the name Boonville, but Daniel Boone lived there for a time.
Really?
Yeah, Daniel Boone lived in Owsley County from 1769 to 1771, and he returned again in 1784. So Boone really loved the area, and his favorite camping spot was in Owsley County. So, for a pioneer, someone who spent a lot of time out in the wilderness and camping,
and it looks,
yeah. Oh, we'll check that out in a minute. But the other one is Earl B. Combs. Grew up in Owsley County, and he is a Hall of Fame baseball player for the New York Yankees. And he was part of the famed Murderers Row lineup. He was the leadoff hitter on that team.
Yeah.
1927 with Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and those guys.
Oh, really?
So he played there, and he grew up in Owsley County. So those are the notable residents. And Owsley County also has a couple of restaurants, that we want to mention. And, we always are about like shopping local and all that. There's the old bus stop diner.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Spencer's Dairy Bar. So, if you can, always go local. We know that's not always possible, but whenever you get that opportunity, try to find somewhere local and support those businesses.
Yeah, absolutely.
They keep the economy going.
That's one thing that Darryl taught me. So, whenever you go out, like, I know you're used to eating the exact same thing over and over again, but, try to show the local businesses some love. And, one thing that experience has taught me is, I've got a chance to meet a lot of amazing people. It's like, I believe the name of the place that we went to is it Cheech's?
In Lenore?
Yeah, in Lenore.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a chance to go there, and when I walked in, they had a complete set of memorabilia. Like, they had old trophies, they had old cheerleading uniforms, they had old basketball jerseys, and they were telling me about all of these past teams. So whenever you go to these local businesses, you can learn a lot as well.
Yeah, and that's always a very important thing. You always go to those businesses. Cheech's is always great. You always, over here, you have the Warfield Dairy Bar just down the road. You have Giovanni's and Kermit, Tug, Fork, and Spoon. I mean, these are just right here locally. Trailhead Bar and Grill, Mate One. Yeah, just there's many. You all know the places. You know your local places, and hit them up as much as you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that is pretty much Owsley County. What do you think about Owsley County?
I think it's I don't know if it's a county that I would want to go to, but I mean, it seems nice, but I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think all of our counties, have great people, and I always want to visit every one of them. Maybe we can get out there at some point and have a game or something down the road. Hopefully, but it would be great to go in there. I know they've had some pretty good athletes out there, so would love to visit Owsley County sometimes. So.
Well, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and hopefully we're going to have our guest in within the next couple of minutes. If you guys want to stay tuned in on the Morning Startup Show, I'm JJ Pruitt with Bradley Dameron. We will be back shortly.
Walters Kia. By now, you know Kia is a great vehicle, and you know they come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So why should you buy from Bruce Walters Kia? At Bruce Walters Kia, we're going to change your oil for free for life. And what you do with that money you save is up to you. Come check out the 2022 Kia Carnival and the 2021 Kia Sorento. Only at Bruce Walters Kia in Pikeville. Or shop us online at brucewalterskia.com.
Pass, bring them to Hall & Jones Funeral Home in Virgie, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall & Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall & Jones. Winning tire shop that focuses on customer service that's family owned and family operated. Stop by and see our friends Jeremy and Chasta at Punk's Tires. If you have a hectic work schedule and you're looking for a non-stressful, convenient way to buy tires, take advantage of Punk's Tires appointment Saturdays. If they don't have the tire you're looking for, they guarantee it to have it the next day. Punk's Tires can take care of all your needs in tires, wheels, wheel alignments, brakes, rotors, minor mechanic work, and more. They'll treat you like family from the second you walk through the door. Come see us in Virgie, Kentucky, or give us a call at 606-639-TIRE. That's 606-639-TIRE.
Wear a lot of hats. There are coaches, volunteers, church members, neighbors, someone who's there when you need them, especially when you need them most. That may be a lot of hats, but they're all the perfect fit. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment.
And we are back on the Morning Startup Show. I'm JJ Pruitt with my main man Bradley Dameron. Bradley, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, it's been a solid first hour. I want to thank Jeremy Pinson for tuning in. He says, "Morning, fellas," and you know Jeremy Pinson is the owner of Punk's Tire. In case you wasn't sure about that, you're the best tire man in the business.
Absolutely. If you need anything with that, just you check with Jeremy and he'll get you taken care of.
Absolutely. Really good man. So before we bring our first guest in, I know that I believe they're supposed to tune in at 9:15. Can you tell me some of the things that you're looking most forward to? Like, I know that you're a sports writer, and I've never been a writer before. So like, can you tell me what it's like for you going into the football season? Like, what your process is?
Yeah, we try to get all that. We really look forward to promoting the kids. When it comes to approaching a football season, every year is different. Every team's different. We know that there are kids who are going to come up, and we try to see some kids who are going to break through, and there's always going to be some surprises too. There may be a kid that didn't receive a lot of playing time last year. This year, about 2 or 3 games in the season, you're going to notice, oh, they're one of our stars now.
Yeah.
And so that's going to happen, and we're really excited about that. But yeah, I look forward to it.
How hectic is it for you as a writer? Like, whenever football season starts, like, are you constantly on the road going to different places, or is it tough to cover everything? Or
well, you do try to, but also our area is so big that the area is so big that we need to I often need to reach out. My coaches are very good at keeping up with me. We got some fine coaches. But yeah, we're always excited to have different people, reach out to us and let us know. Because listen, it's a really big area, and we may know something with 10 kids, but sometimes, like a couple years ago, there was a young man from West Side who suddenly has like over 300 and some yards rushing in a game, and not a lot of people picked up on that because Coach Koger over there sent the information. Well, he ended up being our player of the week.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Yeah, and that's one thing that a lot of kids get overlooked and stuff like that, and you just you got to always pay attention because you just never know when that next player is going to come and have a breakout season, and that's one of the reasons why I love this network so much, because like you can tune in and watch everybody every single weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one thing that I want to talk about is August the 29th. You know what that is, right?
Yeah, that's that's the beginning of the West Virginia football season.
Well, also, isn't August 29th the Mingo Central and Tug Valley game?
It is. And that's going to be a really exciting game.
That's one game that I'm really hoping that I get the opportunity to call as well. I've never called a football game before, and I want a chance for that one to be my first one.
Be up on Minor Mountain. Last year was in Naugatuck, and that was a great atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this year it'll be very interesting. I know Coach Jones has his team fired up and ready to go. I know Coach Ford has. I spoke to Coach Ford a couple of days ago as well. And, he's excited about that as well. So we definitely have a lot, to talk about before then. But that'll be a very fun and exciting game for sure.
That one and the Pikeville and Belfry game is probably the two games that I'm looking most forward to, because my brain still can't process Belfry losing 4 consecutive years to Pikeville.
Yeah, but I tell you though, Pikeville's probably been about one of the best teams in the area the last. The best team, I believe, in the area the last 4 years. Just an incredible program there that Coach McNamee has.
Absolutely. Yeah. And everybody, we are currently working on getting our guest Macy Maynard for today. We're trying to send her the link right now. It's having a little trouble getting a hold of her, but I'm sure that we'll be able to get a hold of her soon. And I'm really looking forward to talking to this one. So this is a freshman, which is crazy to me that she's already got a college offer.
Yeah, Macy has been. She got an offer from Lloyd. She's been hitting the camp, and she's been hitting the camp circuit. Like I know she was at Howard the other day.
Yeah, and it looks like we finally got her on here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring in freshman Macy Maynard. Macy, how are you today?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm doing great. I love the Carter 3 shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm still new to learning all of the kids from this area, and I heard that you were a 6'4" freshman, which is really impressive. Did you play varsity? Is this your first year of varsity basketball, or have you been playing varsity basketball for a couple of years now?
No, I'm going into my freshman year, and I've been playing varsity basketball since 7th grade. I spent my 7th grade year at Belfry playing up for Belfry High School. And last year I spent my 8th grade year playing up for Martin County High School.
Oh, really? So what has that experience been like for you? Most kids, whenever they're in middle school, at least in the West Virginia area, they play middle school ball from 6th grade all the way up until 8th grade. And then finally, when they're a freshman, that's when they finally get to play high school, basketball. So for you to get to play high school basketball at such a young age, has that been a good experience for you?
Yeah, it's been a great experience, honestly. Playing up, you get, obviously it's nerve wracking because, you're some young kid, playing against 18, 19-year-olds and your head's everywhere. But the experience really is, there's not a lot like it. You develop and you get better. I cannot tell you how much better I've gotten since 7th grade year, just playing up before I even started high school.
So at what point, whenever you first started playing high school basketball, like when did you feel like you had your very first breakout game?
Um, I don't know. To be honest, like thinking back, it it might have been at Belfry. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't remember a whole lot from that season,
Hmm.
but I would say I think there was one game where I had like 3 or 4 and ones, like a couple like double digit rebounds, I believe, a couple assists. And I think at that point is really when I was like, I really think I can do this. Do you know what I mean? Like I was really nervous playing up. I'd only been playing for a couple years. I mean, this is only my 5th year playing, and I'd only been playing for a couple years. I didn't think I was ready to play up, but I got in the game, got a couple and ones, got some rebounds, got some blocks, made some really good assists. And I think after that game, in my head, I was really like, man, like I'm good too. Like I can play with these girls.
So you're pretty much you're a different breed, is what I would say. Yeah, you built different for sure.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Macy. I was just wanting to ask you a little bit about your. You've been doing a lot of camps this summer, right? I know I recently heard you went, I believe, to Howard, in DC,
Yeah,
and just tell us a little bit about those experiences. Tell us about the Howard camp and some other camps you've been to.
the Howard camp Howard is one of my top schools academically wise, and going to Howard, no, like in the back of my mind, knowing that that's one of the places I want to go, I was so excited to go. And the campus is amazing. The coaches, the camp, I mean, everything about it was just great. I've been invited to a couple camps. I've been invited to Yale, Columbia. I think tomorrow actually I'm going to Lincoln Memorial University.
Mhm.
And it's really exciting, knowing that I'm a freshman getting invited to all these camps, getting the opportunity to venture out. Because I'm from Belfry, Kentucky. Right now I'm in Inez, which is even smaller than Belfry. So to
Yeah.
know they found me, in this small area, and I get to get invited out and venture out and to these big places. I mean, there really is nothing like it. It's something I wish everybody could get to experience. Going to DC, I mean, DC is such a wonderful city. It really is.
So how does it feel to play for a Hall of Fame coach like Robin Newsom? Can you tell me what that experience has been like so far?
She is an amazing coach and an even better person. Coaching wise, she knows. I mean, she knows exactly what she's talking about. She knows how to help your team. As I mean, everybody knows. We've lost a lot. We lost, 4 of our main players, 4 of our 5 starters. We have 1 returning starter. But like in Coach Robin Newsom's mind, it's not about what we've lost. It's about what we still have. Like we're still working, and she knows that we have the potential to be right back like we were last year. And as a person, I mean, I really do feel like she's my mom, and she's like
Mhm.
that with every one of her kids. It really feels like I would say it's my second family, but it's not even like my second family. It's like my family.
So how long have you been going to Martin County? Just out of curiosity, like, is this your first year, second year? Like, how long have you been there so far?
This is my second year at Martin County. I transferred summer before my 8th grade year.
So how did you guys do in the tournament last year? The 15th region tournament?
We didn't end up where we wanted. We lost in our district championship, and so that put us playing against Pikeville first round of the 15th region tournament, and
Hmm.
it's not where how we wanted. We lost to them, and it's not how we wanted our season to end. Me and my teammates have talked about it since then, and we all know that we there were so many things that we should have worked harder. We could have played better. There, like we've went back and watched film. I've probably watched the district championship game 10 times. And every time I watch it, there's something new that I know, we need to work on this, or I should have done this. Like, we all know that's not the way we wanted our season to end. And we want to come back this year and we want to, redeem ourselves, not just for ourselves, but for our seniors that we lost.
Absolutely. Oh, go ahead, Bradley.
Macy, last year you had Lakin on the team, and she was your leader, and she's now gone to Moorhead. What type do you expect an expanded role this year for yourself? This upcoming season?
Well, we had a lot of main players last year. We had Lakin Williams. We had Katie Markham, Alyssa, and our other senior. We even had Kennedy Mullet. And this year, we all our entire team this year, we all used to be role players. We were kind of filling gaps here and there. We weren't really main players. This year we have to be. Brooke Markham, she'll be our point guard. She'll be taking Lakin's spot. And I know there's a whole lot of pressure on her shoulders, but I really do think she 100% has the talent to step up and fill that role. And then, I have to step up and take Katie's spot, because we need the boards, we need the offensive and, defense, the offensive, rebounds and putbacks, the outlet passes, stuff like that. And we have Chloe May, who's our sharpshooter. And, she's going to have to step up and fill that spot too. You have Candace Spalding and Sophie Harless. Sophie's probably going to be down there banging with me in the paint to help me get, the boards. Candace is really our defensive person. Last year, Alyssa Allen, she was our, defensive specialist. There was somebody that we knew, watched film on, knew we had to play against them. We, sent Alyssa after them. So this year, I'd say Candace will have to fill that role. And then we have an 8th grader and another freshman, Annalie Davis and Des Golick coming off the bench. And we're going to need them.
You also just a couple of days ago you had your very first day of high school, right?
Yes.
And it ended up being a pretty special day, right?
It sure did, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about getting your first offer on your first day of high school.
Well, not too long ago, we had a workout with Coach Mills. And, we kind of talked about it a little bit. And then he offered, and I knew we talked about it, but I didn't know it'd be so soon. And my first day of high school, forever remembering my first day of high school is when I got my first offer, and that means a lot to me because everybody always says, once the first one comes, the rest of them will come. And so getting my first offer on my first day of high school really set in my mind that I know if all I have to do is keep working, it'll come to me.
Yes. I mean, getting that Alice Lloyd, that's a great start. And Macy, I'm sure you're going to get a lot more in the future, but it's great to get that first one right now.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. So what would be your ideal school, if you could go anywhere?
Ideal school?
Yeah.
Hey, I've been a huge fan of UCLA for a long, long time.
Oh, wow.
Academic-wise, I would love to go to Howard or Harvard. I really want to go to law school, and I know both of those have very good law programs.
That is really impressive. Yeah. Wow.
I mean, and you are correct about both Howard and Harvard. I know Howard. I have a friend who went to business school at Howard, so fantastic school, and he's doing quite well. He's one of those middle-aged guys like me, so he's been out of there for a while. But so what are some of the things that you're going to be working on here, Macy, this year coming into this season?
Well, obviously, I'm the center, and I probably always will be. I don't think we'll have somebody taller than 6'4" come on the team. I hope we do, but I don't think there's any of those 9s. Yeah. So I really want to work on finishing at the basket. I'm doing okay right now, but I mean, you can always get better. Nobody's ever perfect. And absolutely. I want to work on my shooting. I have a nice jump shot. I never use it, to be honest. And if I get my confidence up, because knowing I can make that shot, that'll expand my game. And putting the ball on the floor a little bit, things like that.
Well, just remember, you're a freshman this year, and like you said, this may be a season where you're going to go in with the mentality that you're going to go as far as you possibly can, but also keep in mind that you have 4 years left to develop your game. So don't let your confidence prevent you, or your self-doubt prevent you from taking those shots and working on your ball handling, because that's just going to make colleges want you even more if they say, oh, we got a 6'4" person that not only can they grab rebounds and they're very aggressive on defense, but she can also handle the rock and maybe go coast to coast, and she can also stand out there and shoot the jump shot that maybe a 15-20 footer, a 3-point shot. So yeah, definitely just don't doubt yourself. Just go for it, because obviously if you're getting offers as a freshman, then that means that people see something in you. So that's, I would say, just continue to have that confidence.
Absolutely. And Macy, I'm not an athlete, so but it's really exciting to see what your future holds.
Yeah.
We do have some fan questions.
Yeah, I got a couple other questions. Who do you model your game after? Just out of curiosity. Is there like, what players do you watch, like whether it's on the collegiate level, NBA, WNBA? Which players do you try to take something from their game to implement into yours?
Pro wise, I love Shaq. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, I love everything about his game except his free throws. Other than that, love him.
Bully ball.
I think that I play a lot like Shaq because a lot of Shaq's, everything he did was basically down under, and
Yeah.
I can back it out a little bit, but not as much. But another player, college wise, is Audie Crooks from Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
She looks. I swear, she looks just like me. We're built the same and everything, and she had a perfect game not the other day, but last season. I can't remember. I think she had maybe 30 points, 20 something points off
Uh-huh.
100% shooting from the field,
Off
and it
of
was
what percentage?
100%.
Wow.
And it was all from like the block, like all putbacks or posting up and making a move. It was all down low. And I think that just goes to show you don't have to be a point guard shooting 3-pointers. You don't have to cross somebody up and drive to the lane. You can be, you can score and be a star player from anywhere on the court.
I would tell you one player that you could possibly watch would be Hakeem Olajuwon.
Mm-hmm.
He's got really good footwork and arguably one of the most skilled big men to ever play. Another thing I was going to ask you, like, do you are this season, are you going to find yourself hitting the weights more to get stronger, or are you going to try to maybe slim down a little bit for your cardio? Like, what is your training method going to be like going into this season?
I don't know if you know about Hayes Training Systems, Corey Hayes, but
Okay.
I've been hitting up Corey for about a year now. And when school, and I'm playing volleyball right now as well. So it's hard for me to, always make it, and I don't drive. So, but when I can make it to Corey's, he is absolutely the best. If you want to, lose weight, if you want to get stronger, you're vertical, get faster, anything. I would recommend him to anybody who asks. He is one of the best in not just the area, I'd say probably the state.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So when I spoke to Darryl last night, and he was giving me a little bit of background, he did have one question that he wanted to ask you. Unfortunately, he's not here. He wanted me to ask you about AAU basketball, and how much do you think that it helped you get recruited, and how much has it helped you get better as a basketball player? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I'm playing on the EYBL circuit right now with Kentucky Premier for the 14U team. Well, I guess next year it'll be 15U. But
Yeah.
we've been to some really big tournaments. We've been to Chicago twice. We went to Alabama. We went to Nashville twice. Where else we go? Columbus. We played in Nike Nationals, which is, just straight EYBL teams. And the coaches are really good at getting you out there. And
Mhm.
even putting on that jersey with the EYBL patch, it doesn't seem like it would be that big of a difference, but I mean, there's a huge difference. Like, people will just come watch you just because it says EYBL. And I think that playing in that circuit and for that, such a well-known and widely known team really helped me get my name out there. I've had
Mhm.
a college coaches who have, emailed me, asked or texted me, asked about my schedule. Or I had, one college coach that came to several different tournaments to watch me play. And it's all from, that name, that little patch on my shoulder.
So it's safe to say that AAU has helped out a tremendous amount.
Oh, definitely. And it's helped me upgrade my game. I mean, there's AAU wise, especially, that high of a level EYBL, you don't see a lot of girls my size.
Hmm.
Like, even if they are tall, they're usually real skinny and scrawny.
Hmm.
So I've had to really, upgrade defending the perimeter, somebody who can shoot, somebody who can put it on the floor and get past me. So that's really helped my defensive game. The fact that I have to play against somebody faster than me and somebody I know, that has better handles about me. I mean, handles than me. Sorry.
Oh, you're okay.
And
Talk
my
to me
team,
about. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't know you were still talking.
my teammates, I mean, they're amazing, really. I played with girls my age that I didn't even know they were that good at my age. Seriously.
Well, that's one good thing about AAU is when you get to play against the best competition. I mean, there's a difference in playing against your local competition where you may get to see one decent player every 4 or 5 games versus, playing in, the AAU circuit, like you mentioned, where every single game you're playing against everybody that's looking to do the exact same thing, which is play Division I ball or get to college and play ball.
Yeah, exactly. There's some girls, like some teams we played against, where the girls coming off the bench would have been one of the best players on any of the teams around here.
Yeah, I believe that 100%. And I got a couple more. Talk to me about the rivalries, like because you said you came from Belfry originally, and now you're in Martin County. For somebody like myself who's not really familiar with the rivalries, can you tell me a little bit about some of the teams that you have to play against during the season, where the games are very intense?
Yeah, coming from growing up at Belfry, Belfry's biggest rival is Pikeville. So growing up at Belfry, I mean, it's always been, my rival's been Pikeville my whole life. And
Hmm.
I even left Belfry, and I still don't like Pikeville. No offense to anybody from Pikeville. It's not you, it's just the name. Um, But now, I one of my best friends that I went to Belfry with, she plays ball too, Carly Stanley,
Hmm.
and she actually transferred from Belfry to Johnson Central. And so Martin County and Johnson Central are huge rivals in the same district. That's actually who beat us last year in the district championship. So, it's always great to play against, Johnson Central and play against her because in the game, we hate each other. Like biggest rivals ever, like always at each other's throats, trying to beat each other. And then after the game's over, like we get a hug, a picture, go eat. She'll come stay the night at my house. But in the game, it's bad rivalries. Another one of our rivals is Paintsville,
Hmm.
but I don't think it's as bad as Johnson Central. I'm not sure. I've only been here for a year. I think in football it's pretty bad, but basketball, I think our bigger rival is JC.
So, do you and your best friend play the same position, or do you guys like play different positions?
Oh no, she's a point guard.
Oh, so
I
she's
Only time I guarded her was when somebody set a screen and we had to switch. That's really the only time I ever had her.
did she
Other
put you
than
in a
that,
blender or did you get her?
oh, I got her. I got her.
Yeah, that's what I like. So, since you've been playing, tell me your favorite moment where somebody talked trash and then you had to flip a switch and just say, "Look, there's different levels to this." Do you have a specific moment since you've been playing where you completely went off on somebody who tried to run their mouth on you?
It's not as much players as it is parents. I mean, I've been tolerated by my whole life. So, I would go play. I was in sixth grade at an AAU tournament, and somebody said, went and told the tournament director that I drove the bus there. I Things like that just don't make sense. But
Right.
one of my best moments was we was playing against the team. I I don't remember which team it was. I'm not gonna lie, but I know that all the parents in the stands were talking about I was too rough and I need football pads or, shoulder pads, stuff like that. They might as well go ahead and kick me out. And then I got a foul, and like their parents started standing up and clapping, and the team was saying stuff to me. I think I ended that game with like 20 something points. Like it was definitely a double double, 20 points, like 14, 15 rebounds, like 3 or 4 blocks. And after
Lord have
that, like,
mercy.
I know, and we beat them. So like when I was walking off the court, I was looking, and they was all, you could see it on their face. I knew that I got in their heads and got back at them.
So in a situation like that, whenever you know you got them, do you let them know that you got them, or do you just let them just know themselves? Like, do you say like, "Yeah, I got you this time," or do you just walk away and just, you know,
I know that they know.
yeah.
I don't have to.
Well, I love this player. My main man Bradley has a couple of fan questions, and I do as well. And since I've been doing most of the talking with you, I'm going to let him get to the fan questions that he has for you.
Well, I have a couple questions before we get to the fan ones. You were talking a bit about like going out on the perimeter earlier and guarding someone. What things have you done? Because I know, Vin, you probably have had to work a lot on your footwork. Tell me some things you've had to do to work on that footwork to prepare yourself for that type of role.
Well, Lakin Williams, as we was talking about earlier, she's my cousin. So sometimes I'll text Lakin and be like, "Hey, can we get in the gym?" And then we'll do little 1v1s. And obviously, we all know she's faster than me. She's got better handles. So going 1v1 against her, like her helping me with my footwork and things, and getting that first step on her, stuff like that. And Terry, what's his last name? Anyways, Terry, he works out kids in Williamson.
Jackson?
Yeah, Terry Jackson. Sorry.
Jackson.
My mind's going 1,000 miles per hour. But he's really helping me out a lot. I've done a lot of group work with him. I've done a lot of, one-on-ones with him. And his workouts, very little, like, intense, but at the end of the day, it's always helping. Terry's helped me a whole lot with my footwork, along with going to Corey Hayes, and we at practice we do ladders, stuff like that, to help with their footwork. I mean, it's a constant thing in my mind. Offense and defense is my footwork.
That's a great way to pick that up. And Macy, you were talking about your friend, playing for a rival team and stuff. I was just kind of thinking, when you may not go out on the perimeter a lot, but I'm sure when she drives down the lane, you're there to greet her, right?
Yeah, sure am. Every time.
So Shaq, he would always say, like, if a guard came down to the paint, he would always like to touch him up. Is that safe to say? Is that what you like to do?
100%. Anybody who knows me, and obviously I don't foul on purpose, but anybody who knows me knows that I do not leave a game with less than 3 fouls. I'm one. Defense is my favorite thing. Inside the paint defense, you might beat me on the outside. You might get past me, but once we get on the inside, it's very rare for people to score on me in the paint.
Well,
I love that, Macy. You got 5 fouls. You might as well use them, right?
Exactly. That's what my mom says. And Carly, even though, she drives on me, I might foul her a couple times, or, she might beat me. At the end of the day, like, we're still best friends. I still love her.
well.
And I was going to say, so now, we're going to get a little bit into some other things here, Macy. Like, what kind of shoes and stuff are you rocking out on the court?
The court right now, in Chicago at my last tournament, Nike Nationals, they was selling Jaw ones, I think, EYBL edition, and they're different color. Like one, I think my left shoe is pink with blue stuff on it, and my right one is blue with pink stuff on it. So I really like it. But my off the court shoe game is more important to me.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, right now I got on brand new my new Yeezy 500s, but
Whoa. Wow. Okay.
shoe wise, I'm crazy. I've
Yeah.
probably got 35 pairs of shoes. I
Well,
mean,
you give us your top three sneakers off the court.
um, I love the Fruity Pebbles. I mean, they're definitely top 10 of all time, and definitely top three that I have. Um, I got a pair of Vapor Maxes recently, and they're white, but they have like blue and red accent, like baby blue, like my school color accents on them, and I love those. And I would say these right here, these new Yeezy 500s.
Oh, okay. You got any more there or Bradley?
Yeah, I was just going to just check, like what do you do like before a game, like pregame rituals? Do you have any music, like any artists on your playlist or anything else you like to do to get ready?
Yeah, who's your top three artists?
Well, everybody makes fun of me because of my pregame rituals. My favorite thing to do, on the bus before a game or anything, is I spread out on the bus across two seats and I put my head down in my bag and I put my beats on and I listen to either country music or like sappy pop songs. Like I don't have hot music. Like when I listen to hot music, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me.
Whenever I was younger, I would listen to Usher before basketball games, so I'm right there with you.
Exactly. My
Hmm.
top artist, I love Jack Harlow. I'm not gonna lie. He's a Kentucky boy too. Seen
Hmm.
him twice in concert. The only two concerts I've ever been to in my life, and I would see him 10 more times.
Oh wow.
I love Kanye West. The old Kanye though. The new Kanye, he's a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. But the old Kanye, love him.
What's your favorite Kanye album?
Um, I would say College Dropout.
The very first one? Oh wow.
Love
Yeah, that
College Dropout.
I like his first maybe four albums. You had College Dropouts, you had Late Registration, Graduation, 808s and Heartbreak. At the time that it was released, I wasn't a fan of it, but I became more appreciative of it as I got older. And then, Dark Fantasy and Yeezus are probably the ones that I like the most.
The only song I know of Jesus is Bound to. I'm suspicious about trying new songs sometimes.
On Site's a
I
pretty
gotta
good
hear
one.
them.
Yeah. See if you like the opening track of Yeezus when you get some downtime. That's a different one for you. So, do you
Yeah.
have any more questions, Bradley?
Like,
Okay, so I got a couple of fan questions for you personally. Who's your all-time starting five?
Ooh.
Yeah, you can give me
Hard try.
WNBA, you can give me NBA, you can give me a mixture of both together. Either one, I'll let you go with it.
Okay, I think I'm gonna give you NBA.
Okay.
Let's.
Who's your point
I
guard?
the Michael Jordan and LeBron thing. I think they're both great, but I don't know. There's just something about Michael Jordan to me that he's my goat. So
He's mine
I got
too.
there.
Hey, I grew up watching him. Like I remember he won his the 1996 championship when they went 72-10. He won that title on my birthday, so I'm right there with you. He's always going to be my favorite as well.
Oh gosh, I'm a huge Kyrie Irving fan as well.
Okay, if that's who you want to be your point guard, like if you wanted to put five players on the court that you thought could win you a basketball game that nobody could beat, like who would those five be?
Okay, I'm gonna take Kyrie,
Okay,
Michael Jordan,
okay,
and I'm gonna take. I'm between. I'm gonna take Shaq. Yeah.
okay. Shaq's your center.
Hmm. And
Who's your small forward and power forward?
I can do LeBron too because he can play. Yeah.
Yeah, he could be your small forward.
And then I need a shooter. Let's see, who's the shooter?
You got,
Steph.
Steph. I mean, you got Klay Thompson, you got Reggie Miller. I mean, Ray Allen. I mean, there's so many great shooting guards.
Durant,
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I'm in between Steph Curry and Larry Bird. I'm gonna go for Steph Curry because I feel like
Oh,
the game is him and Larry Bird can both shoot, but I feel like Steph Curry is more of a more versatile player.
it'd be interesting because like your lineup's kind of like okay, so Kyrie and Steph are both like 6'2", so it would be interesting to see how they would do on the defensive side.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's still overall a really good lineup.
Well, I wouldn't want to go against that team.
No, I definitely. Who are some of your favorite teams? Like in football. Like who do you watch football?
I'm not gonna lie, I have no clue about anything about football. Like I
Okay,
go to football games and I'm sitting in the stands asking people what's going on.
hey, I understand completely. Who's your favorite basketball team on the collegiate level?
Collegiate level, I'm a huge South Carolina fan and a huge UConn fan.
Oh wow! And didn't South Carolina win the championship this year?
Yes, and actually at Nike Nationals in Chicago, I met Don Staley.
Did you really?
Yeah,
Oh
so that
wow!
was moment for me.
Yeah, I bet that was an interesting experience.
Fantastic coach,
Yeah.
Don Staley.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I'm trying to think. Who's your favorite professional team?
WNBA wise is definitely the Las Vegas Aces.
Okay.
I know. I mean, the fact that four of their players are on the Olympic team and they're back, champions. That's amazing to me. That four of your players, I think it's four of their starting five, is playing for the Olympic gold.
That is really impressive. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's a really good stat. So, how do you feel about the state of women's basketball? Like, have you found yourself watching it a little bit more ever since Caitlin Clark came into the league, or was you always somebody that watched it regardless? Or how do you feel like as far as how much she's helped the game, so far since she's been playing?
Well, I know, I play women's basketball, but I'm not gonna lie. Up until the past couple of years, I never really watched it. I was a diehard, I'm a diehard Lakers fan. So if it wasn't the Lakers play, I wasn't watching it.
Right.
But I hate what Caitlin Clark is doing for the game, and I know it's not just her, but she is the main one. What she is doing for the game right now truly is, it's amazing.
Do you find it hard to?
Sports,
Go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I think that I'm in the perfect, like the prime age of women's basketball right now. Like we're on the uprising. So I feel like, I'm just starting high school. Women's basketball is, just starting to get out there. So I feel like, as I grow, my game grows, I think that the platform for women's basketball is also going to grow. And I think by the time, by the time I make it to college or hopefully the WNBA, you never know. But I think by the time, I make it to college, basketball will really be out there.
Did it surprise you that they left her off of the Olympic team?
It did and it didn't. It surprised me because I know how good she is, and I think she deserved a spot on the team. But at the same time, what would that make the league, look like having somebody who wasn't even in the league yet come and play on the Olympic team? Because when they had Olympic trials and tryouts and everything, she was still playing for Iowa.
Yeah. Well, I guess it makes sense whenever you put it into that perspective. I mean, it makes a lot of sense why they didn't put her on the team.
Because she couldn't come to tryouts. So, what's it make us look like, or, the league look like, or the Olympics look like if you take somebody who didn't even try out and wasn't even at the pro level and put them on a team against people who's been playing pro for years? Even if she is good, which I think she is that good, it's just mental, experience wise and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And I do have a fan question for you. It's from my main man, Darryl McCoy, which currently isn't here. He wants to know if you're a fan of the N8 Ball show.
Oh, Lord. I suppose, I should be, a born fan. It is my dad, but
I'm not familiar with the show, so I'm trying to figure out what he's talking about as well.
It's like my dad and one of his best friends, they have a little podcast show called Nate Ball. And they get a little crazy on there. They talk about some weird stuff, but You know, at the end of the day, I think they're just trying to get on there and have fun and share their opinions, you know, sports
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I really like it. Even
Well,
though sometimes I question my dad, but I like it.
well, it's definitely a show that I'm going to tune in for. And I know you might have to get back to class, but I've got one last fan question, and this one's for me. If you could go back in time and attend any sporting event throughout history, which one would it have been? Like, if you have one game from your childhood that you remember the most where you thought to yourself, I would love to have seen this in person, like, which game would that have been?
I would definitely go back to I would say the dagger.
The
You know,
2016?
hmm
I,
you know I mean nobody thought, you know, that was he's gonna get that shot off.
mhm.
And at the end of the day, it's you got to play to the buzzer, and he sure did.
Absolutely. Now I've had about 3 or 4 guests on here that have said the exact same game, and I remember watching that game live, and I'm like you, it was absolutely insane that they were able to pull off that comeback.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I feel like we've had some comebacks on us like that, and we've had, you know, comebacks on other people. You know, you can be up 15, 20 points. It never matters. And if
Mhm.
you don't play until the buzzer, it
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
absolutely. Well, Macy, it's been a pleasure having this interview with you. You're probably one of my favorite guests, probably because you're a Belfry alumni as well. But I really can't wait to see what you do this season. I know that you're going to do great things. I know that you're going to dominate for years to come. And once again, thank you for coming on to the show, and tell your teachers that we apologize for
Thank
keeping
I,
you on here.
I will. And I just like to give a shout out to Coach Mills and tell him thank you.
Absolutely, Coach Mills. Shout out to you, Macy. It's a pleasure to meet you. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, it's a pleasure to meet you guys too. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Macy.
That was a tremendous interview.
Yeah, Macy.
Yeah, she's really good. Like, you can already tell that she's a natural when it comes to talking to the media. She has a very good energetic personality, and her confidence is off the charts as well.
Absolutely. Well, with a lot of young kids, her age especially, whenever they're talking to the media, they're a little bit shy. I literally saw a girl this past March
Mm-hmm.
break down in tears at the thought of speaking on camera at the West Virginia Girls State Tournament.
Yeah.
Who was a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
So similar thing. And here, Macy, she's ready to go, and that's going to help her out tremendously to have that type of confidence just to step in and start talking and do her thing.
Absolutely. And there's one thing that I've learned. I mean, there's some kids out there that just have it naturally, and then there's some kids out there that have to practice, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with practicing.
No, nothing wrong with practicing, but Macy's got it.
Yeah, she's definitely she's got the it factor for sure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take one final commercial break, and we're going to jump into the final segment. And we want to thank everybody again for tuning in and watching the interview, and we'll be back shortly on the Morning Startup Show with JJ Pruitt, Bradley Dameron.
Walters Kia. By now, you know Kia is a great vehicle, and you know they come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So why should you buy from Bruce Walters Kia? At Bruce Walters Kia, we're going to change your oil for free for life. And what you do with that money you save is up to you. Come check out the 2022 Kia Carnival and the 2021 Kia Sorento. Only at Bruce Walters Kia in Pikeville. Or shop us online at brucewalterskia.com.
Pass, bring them to Hall & Jones Funeral Home in Virgie, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall & Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall & Jones. Winning tire shop that focuses on customer service that's family owned and family operated. Stop by and see our friends Jeremy and Chasta at Punk's Tires. If you have a hectic work schedule and you're looking for a non-stressful, convenient way to buy tires, take advantage of Punk's Tires appointment Saturdays. If they don't have the tire you're looking for, they guarantee it to have it the next day. Punks Tires can take care of all your needs in tires, wheels, wheel alignments, brakes, rotors, minor mechanic work, and more. They'll treat you like family from the second you walk through the door. Come see us in Virgie, Kentucky, or give us a call at 606-639-TIRE. That's 606-639-TIRE.
Wear a lot of hats. They're coaches, volunteers, church members, neighbors, someone who's there when you need them, especially when you need them most. That may be a lot of hats, but they're all the perfect fit. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, on the Morning Startup Show. I'm JJ Pruitt, and I'm with my main man, Bradley Damron. And this is going to be our final segment of the day. But I just want to go back to that interview that we had, a couple of minutes ago. I mean, that was a tremendous interview.
Yeah, really enjoyed talking to Macy. I'm sure we will soon. But I know she also had to get back to class there.
Absolutely. I didn't even think about that. Like, I should have paid more attention to the background, but I really appreciate the teachers giving her an opportunity to speak. And, I really hope that more schools do that in the future whenever we have, our morning startup show. If we can get somebody occasionally, let's say, for example, let's say they have PE class, and, they're just finished with their workout and may have about 10 minutes of downtime. That would be perfect for us to get to talk to them.
It would be great, but we're really glad to be able to get to talk to Macy. But we have a few other topics that we can to discuss before the end of the show today.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we get to those topics, I just want to give a shout out to the OPB Swish. I mean, we have I believe they play
tomorrow. They play the Atlanta Angels.
The Atlanta Angels, and I'm really excited about that game. I mean, these games are getting better each and every time.
It'll be the last game at Martin County High School for them this season. And
I believe after that they'll be competing in Hazard, Kentucky?
Yes, they're going to Hazard for but absolutely, I've really enjoyed covering the Swish, and look forward to the game tomorrow.
Yeah, and I just love that these players are also given a second chance to possibly get some exposure and maybe get a call up from a bigger organization to have an opportunity to play.
Well, and they're just being really good community members too. I mean, honestly, it's a great thing to be able to see that type of basketball, that high caliber in Eastern Kentucky, in the mountains, and not too far from the West Virginia border either. I mean,
yeah, absolutely, just right across the bridge.
Just people can come right across from like Kermit or Crum or something and be over there and see some great basketball as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the game is. It's an hour early than an hour early. It's at 5 o'clock this time around.
Tomorrow.
Yes. So for you guys that may have a little bit of downtime tomorrow, if you want to catch some terrific women's professional basketball, the OPB Swish is going to be playing tomorrow at Martin County High School at 5 o'clock. And I'm telling you, like, it's the crowds have been amazing every time we've had a game.
I agree. And I'm sure it'll be great tomorrow to get a good send off for the Swish, at least for Martin County.
Absolutely. Are you going to get a chance to attend that game?
I will try my best to be over there as well. I know Carla Booth and Dina Darryl and that whole team over there has been really great to us. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got maybe one or two final topics we can get to. Which one would you like to go with first?
Locally, I saw earlier that St. Joe has posted their girls basketball position. So,
really?
So, we're going to lose Coach Jessica Huff, it appears, and she was really a great partner with us as far as she was great getting us information and all that. So we're going to miss her, but really excited for Todd Maynard and the crew up there at St. Joe to bring in someone else. I'm sure they'll find another great coach there.
Absolutely.
So I look forward to seeing that. I don't know if you've been to the game at St. Joe yet, but their gym is one of the more unique gyms that you'll find in the area. It's small, but also just due to the shape of the walls and stuff, like the benches are kind of pushed down on one end of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
It is really an old school throwback gym. They used to call them a cage, and that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like you're kind of locked inside the cage there. And but a really neat place to go. But then they also have the video board up on the wall, so they still got the modern touches. They have the pregame hot videos and stuff, and so that'll be fun once we get there, once basketball season rolls around. But,
and we actually have some comments. I was actually finally able to get them to pull up on my phone. Let's see. We got Nathaniel Siggers says she's not a trash talker like her dad. Terry Jackson says she's a great player, but I love that she's an elite academic student first.
Yes.
Her parents are doing a phenomenal job, and I think she's beating her dad in a 1v1.
See, that's the one thing that really impressed me too about Macy. When you're talking about like colleges and stuff, wasn't looking at just like, oh, they're a really good basketball school.
Mm-hmm.
She's looking at great academic schools like Howard, Harvard, Yale. She mentioned going to Yale, Columbia.
Yeah. And to get in, and those are very prestigious schools as well. I mean, so she has really high goals. And I think that, with her mentality, I wouldn't be surprised if she enrolled there.
You look, I wish her all the best of luck. She's definitely on the right track. And I mean, Nate and Terry, I know you all are doing great jobs there too with stuff. Shout out to you all. But,
absolutely. And let's see, we got Brandy Maynard says she listens to Vienna by Billy Joel before every game.
Hey, you know what?
Hey.
Crank, whatever works. I'm a fan of that, of whatever works. But really impressive young lady, and we'll be able to see that. I'm glad that we're able to.
Absolutely. And Jennifer Ratliff says, awesome interview, sis. Hashtag my 55. Yeah. So she definitely got a lot of love today. And, again, we want to thank her mother for allowing her to come onto the show, and everybody in the school for allowing her to come on as well. I mean, we definitely want to get her back on the show. And also shout out to Mike Perry. He says he's watching as well. We really appreciate it, man. You always tune in, and you're always one of our faithful listeners. We appreciate all of you guys.
Absolutely. A bit of I guess a topic to end there. John McBride passed away. Do you know who John McBride is?
I've heard the name. Can you maybe remind me?
John McBride was was an astronaut from West Virginia, from over in the Beckley area.
Really?
He actually piloted. Most people know about the Space Shuttle Challenger and that disaster, but he actually piloted Challenger in '84.
Oh wow!
And so he was the guy before. He was on a mission before that. Back when we were going to space, it seemed like every a time or two a year. I know it's wild for people to think about, but there was a time where we were shooting rockets, up into space so frequently, and but he was a pilot of that, and he passed away at 81. So
rest in peace. He lived a life.
Yes,
at 81 years old. I mean, that's a long time.
And also, golfing legend Chi Rodriguez also passed away.
Really?
Chi was in a lot of commercials and stuff at the time. Was pretty popular, and then was popular on the senior tour. So, a couple of sad things there, but definitely people who lived their full life. But worth noting.
Absolutely, and so it's officially 10 o'clock. So I'm going to ask you one last question. Do you have any Olympic events that you're looking forward to for the weekend?
I'm going to watch the gold medal games in men's and women's basketball.
What about this one right here?
Probably not breakdancing. No. I'll read the results. I hope the U.S. wins a gold medal, but other than that, I'm probably not going to waste my time on it.
How bad can it be, really? It might end up being the most entertaining, not the most entertaining, but maybe top 5.
It won't.
Just to see how extra and over the top that they're going to be with their dance moves, and how are you going to score that?
I don't know.
Who does the most backflips? Who can spin on their head the longest? Where are they going to go?
I don't know. I'm I don't know, like who the only thing I'm interested in is like if the United States isn't the first powerhouse in breakdancing, who is?
I would imagine maybe China.
China would probably be a pretty good one. Yes, I
Yeah.
would say. So I mean, like, but seriously, that list has to be pretty small as who's going to be, and watch. I'll say that, and someone from somewhere like Slovenia or something will be the.
But if they had the pop locking competition specifically, I mean, I think we would dominate.
Yeah, we got that down.
Yeah,
I'm told. I don't have that down.
I can't pop it. No, I've got to take my vitamins first before I even consider doing that.
If I pop it, I'm not getting back up.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's officially 10 o'clock, and this is the end of our show. We want to thank everybody that took the time to tune in with us. We hope you really enjoyed it. Now, next week, one of the main things that we're probably going to focus on is, since football season is ramping up, we're going to have as many football guests as we can on here to try to, get everybody pumped up and excited. And, once again, we want to thank you for tuning in. And in the words of my main man, Darryl McCoy, good day.